This is Sportswrap Overtime. It's a Sportswrap Overtime special. We do these twice a month. And Brian Parsons, Jeff Snyder, Craig Loper on your screen. But we are pleased to be joined by a very, very special guest this afternoon in the Wavy Plus digital studio. Put him on the screen, Jeremy Blunt.
Yay.
Jeremy Blunt made his way down from Hampton, recently announced his resignation from Phoebus after 14 years as head coach leading the Phantoms. And I gave you a call a couple days ago and just to wish you congrats. And you were gracious enough to say, hey, if you need anything, let's do it. And I said, come do the podcast. And Coach, so we appreciate you coming today.
Oh, man, thank you for having us, man. Thank you for having me, rather, and happy to be here.
Yeah, man. Brian, I mean, we've been covering this guy. You've been covering this guy a long time.
Yeah.
We've been covering his teams, and I was telling you, we get a chance to interview him in a TV setting, but the podcast setting is so much more lax. It's much different than like the TV version that we talk to him.
Yeah, this isn't. You don't have to give like the canned sound bites.
Yeah.
You know, like you do for the news.
The 12-second sound bite.
We're just chilling, man.
Yeah.
We're just talking.
Yeah. So, Jeremy, you recently announced the resignation from Phoebus, a program that is near and dear to your heart. You're a Phantom through and through. The first question is why is the right time for you to move on as a high school football coach now?
Well, I'll tell you, there was nothing easy about making this decision. You kind of play things out and, you look over the years and you see experiences and opportunities that you have in front of you. But, I've loved the very basis of everything that I've been a part of there at Phoebus. It's been hard to walk away from, but at this point, looking at where my kids are age-wise, looking at the things that we have accomplished, looking at the program, and I feel like the program's going to be in great hands regardless with this administration. They'll do a great job, finding the next candidate. I felt like it was time for me to explore some things.
Yeah, right. Let's get your accomplishments right here. Brian, you want to list out some of the accomplishments?
Where do we start?
Let's make sure we get that noted.
Okay, so you Phoebus graduate. Mm-hmm. So you grew up in Hampton, stayed on the peninsula. So let's talk about in 2001, you were on the team, captain. Linebacker, correct?
Linebacker.
And he played as an 8th grader on varsity football.
I mean, come on.
Wow. So
with all that talent.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say this. As an 8th grader, I was a part of the varsity. I was on the team as a water boy.
Okay. Got it.
With DHSL, you can't play.
Right.
You can't play as an 8th grader. But I got the experience in practice. I was able to practice with the guys.
So in that 2001 season, a very historic season for Phoebus, the Phantoms win their first state championship in program history, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
Correct.
That was the first one. And I believe we have some video of this game at the old City Stadium in Richmond. There it is. Look at those shoulder pads, Coach.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Man.
What number were you?
Number 10.
Okay, let's see if we can find you in the highlights here. All right, could you remember these players?
Oh, man, all of them.
Yeah.
Every one of them.
Playing Patrick Henry here, Coach. This is your senior season. Can you speak a little bit about like the journey to get to this point? Because again, this is the first time. There you are. I think you were coming off the edge right there. To get to this point, what was it like in the build up to this to cap off your senior year with the state title?
Well, we were coming in the shadows of, Hampton High was Hampton High, and then Heritage High School had won their first state championship my junior year. So, they were a team that everybody was kind of counting on. Marcus Vick played for Warwick that year. So it was like a four-headed monster in the district with teams with, Hampton being Hampton, Heritage winning the championship the year before, Warwick being Warwick, and then Phoebus. Here we go. We've been consistent, solid. Coach D ran an amazing program. So, the special thing about this group, my senior year, there were a number of us that started varsity as sophomores. So we were together for 3 years. And, we felt like this was our time. No one was going to see us coming. No one believed we could get it done. But we had the right ingredients in place. And I'll tell you what, man, we went out there and proved it.
Yeah. I think there's a shot.
Oh, look at who's this young man on the right there?
That's the famous
oh my
shot.
goodness, who is that?
Look at those shoulder pads.
AAA,
Seriously.
AAA Division 5. Division 5. We talk about that in the office quite a bit, man. How different it was back then to win a state title. Obviously, every state title is respectable, but then there were so few to go around.
You couldn't lose a game, man.
You
if
could
you
not
lost a
lose.
game, you might not make it to the playoffs.
And it's like now.
Oh God.
Okay, are there too many teams in the playoffs?
Way too many.
I mean, come on. Thank you.
Way too
Thank you. I mean, all due respect, and I've said this. Okay, if you're Jamestown and you're 0-11 or whatever it is, if I'm the coach, I say, young men, we didn't deserve this.
Yeah.
We don't deserve to be in the playoffs. We didn't earn the right to play in this game.
Yeah.
We're not playing this game.
Yeah.
I mean, is that an unreasonable take on that?
Well, I'll say this. Being a competitor, you never shy away from an opportunity to compete. But those that make decisions can help coaches out by making a decision for us. Just eliminate how many you put in.
Yeah.
That will help.
And you did that, and you still put up 100.
That was you went viral a few years ago, man.
I mean, how do you they couldn't stop anything. I mean, what are you going to, I don't think you're necessarily trying
That went
to.
viral. God, that went viral. Coach, let's
I just think there's too many teams. I don't think if you have one win, I don't think you've deserved, you didn't earn the right. I mean,
different time.
Talk about backing yourself into the playoffs.
I'll tell you what, having a chance to meet Coach, man, the connection that we were able to make after that game.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a warrior.
Yeah.
Warrior's mentality.
A Marine, right? A former Marine. And he took that mindset.
Yeah. It's going to be hard for that man
that
to
was
back
noted.
off from that.
Coach, so let's talk about the journey after your playing days, right? Playing days at Phoebus. 2001, tell us about your next steps of your career and how everything evolved to eventually get into coaching.
Well, after 2001, man, a few of us, 6 of us went down to St. Augustine's College where they started football again after like 50-some years. Division II ball up in the CIAA. That was good. Raleigh, North Carolina, beautiful place.
Okay.
I love it. I would go move there again. It's a lovely area.
Yeah.
Spent a few years there, and then I transferred back to CNU, played for Coach Kelsner, and then I finished my degree at Hampton University.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah. So a little bit of journey.
Yeah.
Yeah, journey. And then so you finished your degree, what, 05? So,
No, I actually finished in 08.
08,
So
okay.
Transferred and, set out a year, got married.
yeah.
Had a kid, had my first kid, so
Okay.
set out a year. Then I went back, and that's where football was pretty much done. I decided to become a family man.
Yeah.
What was that experience like playing for Kelchner at CNU? They had just kind of gotten the program started and gotten it rolling, and there was a lot of momentum being built that Coach Kelchner built a winning culture there.
I hope he wouldn't get mad at this, but I believe he and Coach D had a great relationship. They were very similar. They're very similar.
Okay.
Both methodical. They were calculated. Hard nosed, but they cared. Tough exterior, but the interior, man, I tell you, they just love, man. So it was fun playing for him. Smart man, and he reminded me a lot of Coach D.
And then Coach D actually got his college career started at the
with Coach
CNU.
Kelsner.
He left Phoebus for
Right.
CNU and then ended up at Old Dominion and then Oscar Smith. And
Yeah. What point did you make the decision to get into it? That's what we want to know. Like, at which point you're like, you know what? Let's go try to coach.
What was your first job out of college?
Well, I actually started giving back to a local rec league team that my fraternity actually sponsors, the Kappa Cardinals. And so while I was in school, I was participated coaching, found out that I enjoyed it. It was an actual passion of mine to work with kids, so that came natural. Doing something that I actually enjoyed playing, I was able to give back and teach. So during that time, I'm still in school. Coach D gives me a call during the 05 season, seeing if I was interested in coming out and, working with them. And
this would be at CNU.
This would have been at Phoebus High School.
Oh, Phoebus. Okay, he's still at Phoebus.
So he
at this
tried
point.
to.
Okay.
He actually offered me an opportunity to come and coach at Phoebus, and I knew him. If you couldn't fully commit, I would want to give everything that I could give. And I was still in school, young family man. Had tore my knee up playing ball, which was another reason why I kind of stepped away from playing. Tore it up twice actually. So I decided not to coach with him, and I gave back to the rec programs. And the night of his announcement of his retirement, he and I we talked for maybe 2 hours, and he was sharing some things with me about the next step and what he felt I could do, and he was informing me that he was almost certain Coach Sexton would be the next head coach, and he thought it would be a good idea that if I have the time to go and help coach out, so Coach Sexton out, and it was great. It was a great moment. It ended up being great for me.
Yeah.
And an incredible run under Stan Sexton with a 52-game winning streak, which I believe is the tied for the record in the state.
Yep.
Is it like Riverheads or some other weird school out there?
So he and Coach D actually share that win streak.
Oh,
The 08 season.
Okay.
That makes it unique.
15-0.
Okay.
And that was the start of the 4-peat 08. Coach D
Okay.
retires, Stan comes in, and he runs off another 3.
Wow, that is a unique one. How many win streaks have had 2 coaches like that?
That's insane. And for 2 teams to have 51-game winning streaks,
yeah,
the same school.
yeah, we're gonna get into that.
So you get to Phoebus, and then you're part of this another dominant run. And in 2011, if we could roll this video, this would cap off a 4th championship.
Yeah.
And this was in Charlottesville, and the opponent in this game would be who do we have?
South County.
Okay, South County. Okay, I get those Northern Virginia schools mixed up.
Coach, what did you learn as an assistant in these years as you look back on some of this?
Who is this?
That's Ramon DeLoach.
Okay.
He's
okay.
special. He's for talents, man.
Yeah, there's another catch he makes here that is just He looks like Randy Moss.
Ramon Deloach
Played at Temple.
Did he have a son? We had someone named, we had a Deloach in recent years around here for different schools. So I was thinking,
Here's another one, but look at this catch. I mean, this is insane. I mean,
yeah, that's nuts.
It's just getting up there and
6'4"
getting
or
it.
something.
Wow.
He looks huge.
So what made this run special, or this particular team to cap off this four-peat?
These guys, man, their resilience. You know, the 52 game winning streak dropped their senior year, and a lot of them contributed to the back-to-back and the three-peat. You know, some of those kids, some of those guys, now grown men, you know, they had played as freshmen with the 08 team as well. So these guys, not with the 08 team, with the 09 team to start the back-to-back. These guys right here, what made it special for them, man, you know, when we lost to Woodside, we lost to Woodside, and then we ended up losing to Hampton. So
You lost 2 games that season.
We lost 2 games that season.
Wow.
That's what made it special. They made a decision, you know, in the office. They pulled us coaches together, and they told us they wouldn't lose again, and they just took over. They took over, man. And that's when I learned as a young assistant that I knew as a player what it meant for the locker room to control the locker room. And that buy-in is everything. To watch it as a coach and watch them do it from the outside in, you know, that was special.
What were you coaching here? What was your role on these teams?
So I was assistant with the defense, assistant defensive coordinator. Coach Sexton called the defense. And I was a linebacker coach, running back coach.
And you know, a huge part of coaching is preparation. Like, can you speak to how Stan helped you prepare? Did you study film? Like, did he teach you how to study film? Did you learn kind of that as an assistant?
Oh, that staff was amazing, man. So I worked side by side with Coach Holbert, James Holbert. He actually coaches at Lafayette now.
Okay.
But he was a longtime assistant for Coach D. A lot of Coach D's assistants stayed on staff because Stan was once an assistant too. So those were his friends, you know. They all stayed together. But what I learned from them in total, you know, not just Stan, but the entire staff, preparation was everything. And those guys did their due diligence, you know. They were really, really calculated on putting the pieces together, you know, and what's the next step and preparing for any potential adjustments, you know. So they did a good job communicating, and they trusted one another.
Yeah.
So as a young coach, I learned a lot of different, it's not just about being the loudest person in the room and the smartest person in the room. No, you really want to trust the guys to your right and your left. Yeah. Stan did a good job doing that, and he had some really good assistants. So they helped groom me up.
What is it about the Peninsula and coaches? We've talked about this in the past. So if you want to go to the very top, and Mike London and Mike Tomlin, and then Coach Kaz and Kurt Newsom and Mike Smith and Bill D and yourself. I mean, this is Tommy Riemann. I mean, what is it about coaching on the Peninsula? Michael Vick is the head coach at Norfolk State. My goodness, so many great coaches from the Peninsula. Why is that? You don't see that on the South Side as much.
I'll say that being in my seat right now, hearing my name in the same sentence as those names you just announced, that's amazing to me, because for so long you knew if you played for one of those guys, you were gonna be taught what manhood looked like. You were going to be taught what it meant to actually, you know, be a family man one day, put everyone else above yourself. You know, you're going to be taught what it meant to give and dedicate yourself and commit yourself to, you know, to a bigger cause, something greater than you. And I took a little bit of that from everyone, but Coach D did a really good job within our program demonstrating what that looked like.
Yeah.
And, you know, that was the basis of my foundation as a coach, and how I wanted to lead and be a leader of men was just, you know, put others before yourself, you know, be a leader of, you know, not just your vision and pushing your vision across, but getting people to buy into what it is you're actually selling. That's important. Buy-in is everything. And I watched him do that. And I'm sure those names, because of the success that they've had, they did it as well.
Love that. You talk about your opportunity as a coach and implementing those things you learned. 2012 comes around, coach, and all of a sudden that position at Phoebus as head coach is open. Talked about, you know, taking that job and what a step that was for you in your career as a younger guy.
Well, coming on as an interim coach, you know, that was my first year as the official defensive coordinator in 2012. Coach Sexton trusted enough in me and gave me that opportunity. You know, when everything happened and, you know, the position was there and it needed to be filled, you know, the administration in place, William Beverly, our principal at the time, and Deanna Brown, our athletic director, you know, who still works in the building. She's a PE teacher in the building. You know, they trusted me, which, you know, I was one of the youngest guys on staff. And that meant a lot, number one, but I also understood the duty that was at hand. So for me, it was just about just keeping the kids in those relationships that I had in place, keeping that first, and the things that I had learned about preparation and, you know, getting everyone else bought into what it is that we're, because, the team almost, not the team, but the staff almost folded.
Okay.
Because everyone was looking for, why not me? Why him?
Yeah, was there resentment that the young guy got the nod?
Oh, there was a lot of resentment.
Yeah.
And it showed the next year when guys decided to go separate ways, and it was okay. It was a business decision, but my job that year was to try to gain as much buy-in as I could from the staff, but continue to keep the kids who already believed in me, on track. And we ended up having a successful outing. Kept them undefeated for 8 games, and then we played a juggernaut that year they wanted us bad from the previous years that we had beaten them in Lake Taylor.
Okay. 2012.
That game at Harbor Park, boy, I tell you, that was...
Wow, it's at Harbor Park.
Yeah, that was. I was going through that. I did see that footage of that. I guess that was Hank back then too.
Yeah, of course, of course.
I guess I could tell Coach Sawyer, thank you, man. Thanks for bringing me into the fold
Was
the
there-
right way.
But you were able to establish your own culture though throughout the years, which was and assemble the people that were, as you were saying, bought in to the philosophies that you wanted to implement, right?
That's right. And I made the administration, they believed enough in me. I'll tell you, in the community, even though I was, captain of the first state championship team and I had been an assistant for, 3 championships prior, the community, it was probably a split on who supported them officially naming me head coach that 13th season coming off of that butt whooping at Harbor Park.
Okay.
It was probably a split. And I'll tell you, if not for my principal at the time who fielded a number of calls of people, trying to encourage him to move on from me. There were people that said they'll come pack my office up for me and get me out of there if I needed help. So,
Yeah. So 13 was the first full
13
year.
was the first full year.
Okay.
Yeah, 13 was the first full year. We had a really good outing too that year. Played DeMatha. They had 16 committed kids, Division I kids.
Wow.
We had 7 kids in street clothes that were injured that game, and we lost in the last 2 minutes by 4 points. I truly believe if we were full strength, and it was early on, first game of the season, that we would have beaten them. We would have shocked everyone.
Wow.
Who's the best player in Phoebus history?
Oof.
You're doing something to me right now.
You could say yourself.
No, I'm nowhere near.
He would never say himself.
Is it Xavier
I'm nowhere
Adibi?
near.
Is it Taj Boyd? Is it
Taj's highlights
There
are
have been
crazy.
a lot of great ones, man. I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, you can go position to position. You can go overall. One of recent I'm going to always stand on. People say I'm a little biased because I coached him, but Jordan Bass, he was
man,
special.
we loved covering Jordan
covering
Bass.
Jordan, man.
Antoine Womack. I mean, Jesus, if you did not know who Antoine Womack was,
Went to UVA. He was a
UVA,
great
New
running
England
back,
Patriots.
and he would knock you.
I played with the Adibi brothers and Xavier Adibi, one of my childhood friends, man. He All-American at Virginia Tech, played in the league. His older brother was successful as well. Man, there were so many special guys.
Yeah.
I don't like to get into it.
You know what's, Coach, this is kind of just staying on this real quick. I always find interesting, like when it comes to high school football, and one of your more recent guys, which is an interesting story to me, and who just personifies a high school footballer, is like a Davion. Like Davion is like, he was so fun to watch for me because he wasn't the big, physically imposing guy that's gonna, but he meant so much to the heart of your team. How much did you enjoy coaching players like that maybe weren't the big time college prospects, but they meant so much to your group?
Everything. I mean, when you look at stature, man, he was probably the smallest running back to ever come through Phoebus.
Right.
He was strong. He was physical. But his mind, he played like a giant because of his mind and his thought and his belief in himself and his team. They were fun. That stretch of this 4-peat that we had, there were so many amazing players that year after year, they were just waiting for their moment.
Yeah.
And you can go from the 21 team, with Kamari Gray and Jalen Mayo, Mark Wagner and, Donald Gatlin, to the 22 team with Jordan Bass and Tyrion Taylor, you know.
Tyrion was fun, man. He was fun to
Nolan
watch.
James,
Nolan was great, too.
And in the midst of this now, Keontae Gray is right in that midst.
Yep.
Anthony Reddick, right in that midst.
Yeah.
Anthony Reddick, yeah.
But that 23 season, that was their moment as seniors. That was their breakout moment.
Yeah.
Paul Stephen Davis, he joined the fold with those guys. And, Stevenson, Big Stevenson, and Reddick were fun to watch. And then that 24 season, man, you just look at Noah Jefferson, those guys, Romare Smith,
Romare was fun. Yeah.
like you said, Davion Bull, who was in the mix the whole time, Caleb Tillery, man, and Brendan Thompson. Caleb Tillery was he was a longtime captain for us since his sophomore year.
I'll tell you a player who I enjoyed watching, and it was one of your opponents, but you talk about an undersized guy that just kind of balls out. And that was Casey Lassiter at Hampton. Was a fun football player to watch. Undersized, but I mean, man, he could play. That kid could play.
He was electric, man.
Yeah.
he made us pay that first game we played him.
Yeah, he did. We're gonna get to the second meeting in a little bit. Now, so you become the head coach. Fast forward a few years later, and then you go on a miraculous run of 4 consecutive state championships, a 51-game winning streak. Mm-hmm. Why didn't you get the record, man? Why couldn't you get 52? What happened, man?
That was crazy how it worked out.
Well, you had your quarterback was injured. You're going against Highland Springs,
Coach. Because when we talk to you a lot, you kind of now that you're removed from it, you kind of push the record to the side, and it's always game by game. But was there any sense of pressure, like, oh man, how long is this thing going to go? Like, talk to me about your mindset, maybe in the back that you were never letting us on to.
Well, graduating 31 seniors. Okay. And out of those 31, I mean, it was like 22 guys, starters, you know, like guys that played a substantial role on that team, that 24, championship team. We knew going into the offseason that we were going to be extremely young. Mm-hmm. We knew that. We had enough veteran presence in place, especially having, Troy and Reek back, that made things. And then Cameron Tillery, those guys were, guys that had been a part of the, a number of championships. But we knew how inexperienced we were. So, for us, it was one of those things that we needed the time to continue to build that continuity with this group, and the consistency would have come with the confidence that they would have gained. But we hit an injury bug early on. Mm-hmm. We went up to Richmond and we scrimmaged Trinity.
Okay. And
it was it was a great scrimmage. It was physical. And we were full strength. And, we ended up, I don't count wins and losses in a scrimmage. You pull guys out, they pull guys out. So it's not necessarily, you don't know who your full starters are.
Right.
But the game went down to the very end. It was like game situation. That team we put on the field, even with the inexperience, a healthy Phoebus this year, I believe we would have been undefeated in the regular season. Mm-hmm. I do believe that. Yeah. And I believe we would have given ourselves a chance with the playoffs to make that 5-peat run. Mm-hmm. I do believe a healthy Phoebus would have had an opportunity to break the 52-game win streak, and we would have gotten to 53.
Yeah.
We were 2 games shy.
Yeah.
But the injury bug hit us.
Yeah. Unfortunately, injuries are just a reality of the game. It happens.
We were not full strength all season, not until the end of the season. And I guess if you have guys playing with torn this and torn that, but they're playing, at least you have them back in some form or fashion.
2 things I'll say. If it's an indicator of when teams, I'll tell you this, every team you played, they brought their best. And when Warwick beat y'all this past season,
they definitely, you had a target.
You guys had a target because not only that, their level of emotion after that win was up here. Because you could tell how much it meant to them to finally get y'all. And then props to you after the game. I don't know if it was Brian or James at the game that day. I think it was James. Yep. But you were gracious with your time. You gave us a respectable interview after the game. So we appreciate you for that. But I just wanted to compliment you because not every team gets that treatment. Warwick won a lot of games, but after that game this year, you could see how much it meant to them because they hadn't beat y'all in I don't know how many years.
And not everybody's gracious in defeat, and some aren't gracious in victory. I'll just leave it at that.
But so appreciate you for that, Coach. And but it's an indicator. You lose to Warwick, you lose to Hampton in the regular season. I was in the office with my hand up here, and I said, I know Phoebus is down this year. But I said, Jeremy Blunt in the playoffs is still no one to mess with. And what do you know? Y'all make it back. You win. You beat Hampton. I mean, what was it like to kind of get back in that second Hampton game this past season?
That was really cool.
Yeah.
And
can we roll 4?
Yeah.
4?
Number 4?
Oh, yeah. Here we go. Number 4.
We're going to talk. This is the game right here.
Yeah.
So you lose. Lose to Hampton in the regular season. Yeah. Big.
Bad.
Yeah. And then you're in the region semifinals at a cold, nasty, wet Darling Stadium. And here's what we go. I mean, what do we have here? There's a fumble right there. There's
crazy. Is that Casey?
There's
right
Casey Lassiter.
Hey. So we're down 14-0 right here.
Okay. Oh boy.
This touchdown.
Yeah. So what was it like, getting prepared for this game, Coach, knowing you had to try to beat these guys?
I'm gonna tell you, I have.
Was that before the half?
This was before the half.
That was huge.
Yeah.
This was before the half.
And then look at this blocking.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah. Little screen.
So well coached.
Mm-hmm. What was your message?
To the end.
What was your message to the team leading up to this game?
Belief.
Yeah.
Believe in things that we have accomplished in the past, but really what we've been working for to gain with each other this season. Mm-hmm. The past doesn't win ball games for you. It just it will let people know that, hey, they can't come in and half step against you. Mm-hmm. But for us, it's a reminder that we have at least been there.
Yeah.
And so you lean on those experiences that we've had. And, moments like this would come about and you make them count. And
Yeah, this is crazy.
Oh,
Yeah.
give me that ball.
I mean, that was a
nuts.
huge play.
That was nuts.
In the rain.
Was that a go-ahead touchdown, tying touchdown?
I think that was kind of kept it within the 2-score range.
It did. It put us back. And I want to say we were down by 3, right? Or maybe 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Each time
I
Hampton
went for 2.
got close, and you guys just kind of answered right back,
Right.
and it just
We
kept
went
it
down.
out of reach.
We went in at half down.
Yeah.
But when we came back, we got the ball back. So that helped us out because we were getting the ball back.
What were the emotions like in that game? Not only to get back against Hampton, but to also advance into the playoffs when a lot of people thought you were the underdogs.
I think the most exceptional thing when you look at just the emotions in general of the playoffs was the start of this game. Mm-hmm. I could notice Hampton's coaching staff when they came out before their players came out for warm-ups. I could see the confidence. It was almost like, I'm not going to say I have a lot of respect for them, so I know they weren't overlooking us.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things where in their mind, they did not believe they would lose.
Yeah.
It was their year. It was their moment. You could tell.
They had a great year.
They had an amazing
District
year.
champs.
They did a great job.
Yeah.
But for when their players came out, you could see the confidence that they had.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as our guys hit the field and they were jumping around and they were moving around and chanting, and it looked like some Phoebus of old. I mean, the 4-peat run type Phoebus.
Yeah.
Those weren't the same young and inexperienced and nervous individuals because a lot of freshmen and sophomore playing on this team.
Yep. Yep.
Now, this was an experienced group at this point, and they were battle tested. So I think that kind of threw their coaching staff and their players off a little bit, if you ask me, because they were not expecting us to come out. I believe they thought we were going to come out with our heads down. They went up by 14 quick points, and you could see that confidence come back. But when we answered on that, I went for it on like 4th and 2, 4th and 1, and Tyree Diggs out of nowhere. I mean, he got that all on his own, but it kept the drive going, and we later scored. And they knew then it was going to be a ball game. So the impressive thing for me was to watch the energy level of my guys early in that game, something that I didn't see all year.
It's 47-35 was the final, one of the games of the year in Hampton Roads.
That was the final?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember it being that high. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. 47. Okay.
And the weather was awful.
Brian was up there.
What's it like in games like that, man? Do you
Ball
mind it?
security? You preaching ball security?
All the time.
Yeah.
We do things at practice to kind of prepare them for, we'll wet the balls up and make them practice with slippery balls. We give them, weighted footballs,
Okay.
with the running backs and make them kind of go through the bags and the drills with weighted balls. So, we put a lot of pressure on them in practice to prepare for moments like this. We don't shy away from it,
Yeah.
but it's fun.
Yeah.
As a coach sitting back, it's really fun.
Let
you're
me
I
ask
was
you
going to
this.
say, you're
Go
still
ahead, Jeff.
throwing the ball.
Yeah, you were lighting it
and
up.
it's downpour.
Yeah.
So you had no fear, even in the rain.
I had Maricus Banks.
Yeah.
No fear. I was going to let that young guy go. And then I had some receivers that I just trusted.
Coach, let me ask you this, because watching the video reminded me of something. All right. Darling Stadium, you play up there. I miss the old grass. I love the new turf, but I want to know. I'm putting you on the spot. What do you prefer? What do you prefer?
Because when in the winter, that grass
was so cool,
it turns
man.
yellow and it's so soft.
And you painted the lines black.
It's like a pillow.
It was so cool. What did you prefer, honestly?
You love the way the turf looks.
It does.
I mean,
It's
is
very
gorgeous.
beautiful.
It is
Yes.
absolutely gorgeous. That day, we were slipping left and right.
Right?
Yeah.
We were
Right?
slipping, but I will say, it. By then, we played Norcom back in 2018 on our road to my first state championship as a head coach, taking my team. Regional championship game, it was much like that, but it was worse. It was wet, muddy, rain the entire game. I brought an alternate set of uniforms, and we changed at halftime.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they don't have a great field anyway at Norcom.
No,
as it is.
we
Yeah.
played at Darling.
No, you played.
Oh, it was a Darling.
It
I'm
was
sorry.
at Darling.
Okay.
And when I'm telling you, by the end of that game, we won, but we were playing Culpeper, who had shocked Hampton back in 2099.
Okay.
Had shocked Hampton back in the 99 season.
Snap. That was Well, I
Marcus
guess
Higgins was the quarterback.
When Mike Smith's son missed the field goal.
That's right.
Yep.
So it was a whole write-up about Culpeper knowing how to come down and shock a PD team.
Okay.
So, which if you wanted to win a championship back in the day, quick little side note, you had to come through Hampton.
Yeah. Yep. Of
So
course.
Hampton High School,
Yeah.
Phoebus High School,
Bethel.
mix
Yeah.
as well. So
Yeah.
no knock to kick it to my cousin played there. They're pretty
Hey,
good.
Kurt had him close.
He did. But that field was so horrible. The following week we could not play. We were the home team. We could not play the game at Darling. Thankfully, our school division was able to get it set up, and we played at Hampton University.
Wow.
Yeah, but
Wow.
the field
That
was bad.
Nice.
So
I was
it
looking
wouldn't
So
have
benefit, pros and cons to both.
pros and cons.
I was looking back at some old video, and I don't know if you were part of this or not. No, you're probably still at Phoebus, but there was a playoff game that CNU played at Darling Stadium. Do you know what that was all about? Why would they have done that?
Now, CNU's played at Darling a few times. I cannot think.
I wonder what it was for. Just maybe.
I cannot think of that.
Yeah,
I can't think of it.
I was looking at the video.
Construction, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
They didn't go to Todd.
Yeah, construction.
Right.
Something like that.
I think we need to take a break.
Yeah, let's take a quick break
Yeah,
real quick.
When we come back, we're going to talk about what I think was the most exciting state championship win of Coach Blunt's career.
We'll be right back. This is Sports Wrap Overtime. All right, we are back with former Phoebus head football coach Jeremy Blunt, kind enough to give us some time today on Sports Wrap Overtime. Got into a lot of stuff the first 30 minutes, Coach. We want to talk about this 2023 state championship. Just an incredible game that came down to the very end, and you needed a prayer at the end, and you got it. You got it.
Over Salem.
Over Salem.
Not our Salem,
Yeah, not
but
our Salem.
the Salem.
Roanoke.
Yeah, Salem Roanoke.
I mean, talk about just the build up to that game. Liberty University, you guys were already comfortable there after the year before. I think was 2023 the move y'all moved up to 4?
It was.
It was. You
first
moved
year
up to 4. So talk to us about that game a little bit.
I'll tell you, Salem, the history. Salem was, at that time, they had 10 state championships already themselves. The old team.
Right.
And we were sitting at 9. Okay. So, for us, we knew we were playing a team that was experienced, seasoned. They've been there before. They had 2 top recruits. They had the number 1 recruit linebacker in the nation that year, and their running back, he was top recruit in the nation as well. They both went and played SEC ball.
Yep.
One at Georgia and the other one's at Tennessee. So we knew we were going to have to come in and we were going to have to play a game, man.
Yeah.
They were not going to give it to us. A lot of people thought that King George semifinal game was the actual championship game because they had these 2 4-star receivers. They had
That's
an
right.
amazing passing game, and we just shut those guys. They didn't score an offensive touchdown.
Wow.
So coming into the Salem game, we were picked as the favorite, and I kept reminding my guys, we are not going to read the clippings.
Yeah.
You need to stay out of the paper, stay off social media. Everyone's going to say we're the fan favorite on this one.
Is this it?
This is it.
This is it.
is
So
We're tied at 14.
Give us some
Tied at 14.
context to that point,
Marika
Coach.
Spanks to Keontae Gray.
What so we got it back with 1 second left. I guess they kicked it off. Did you return it? Did you tell the guy to take a knee right away? Like, because with 1 second, it'd be easy to say take a knee and go to overtime.
Oh, yeah.
So Reek had very intelligent of him, high IQ, man. This kid, the play before, he takes a sack. He dives. He doesn't take the contact, but he just goes down because he understands we're trying to
Here's the play again.
preserve
Yeah.
time. And, we're also trying to give ourselves an opportunity. Don't take a big loss and don't set yourself up for a fumble. So the next play, we had given them 2 plays. One was this play.
Okay.
And the other one was take a knee. I'm like, at that point, our defense, top defense in the state, I'm like, we're going to go in and we're just going to play defense in overtime. But I wanted to see what they were going to do. So when I saw their coach, when I saw that they weren't going into prevent, that I believe they thought, because they played a very conservative style. That's just who they are. 3 clouds, 5 yards, 3 yards in the cloud of dust type of team.
Okay.
Old school type of approach, very conservative. I wanted to see what he was going to do.
Yeah.
And my coaches and I, we one of my coaches said, hey, this is it.
So they played regular defense.
They played regular
Wow.
defense. Let's just give it a shot. We'll run the clock all the way down. Let's see what happens.
Wow.
And that's what we did. And Reek made an awesome pass, but Keontae Gray, man, what he did, zeroing in on that ball, and he told me he had it regardless, that he was going to make a play. And then Noah Jefferson, we worked this drill that I put in a few years back called the blindside pick drill. We were getting a lot of penalties, just from blocking downfield and things of that nature. So we were looking for safe ways to be able to block, but effectively block down the field. And watching him execute that drill and cut the defender off as Keontae proceeded to score was there were 4 components, the O-line blocking along with our running back, Davion Bull. Marquez having a wherewithal to make that pass, Keontae catching the pass, and then Noah's block at the end.
It's kind of like where you kind of wall them off.
Just
Or
wall them
you wall
off.
them off,
Just
kind of
right
get in their
front
way,
of
post
them
up
and
in front of them.
It's just like a basketball pick.
Right, as opposed to kind of trying to, okay.
Leaving it to the refs'
I wouldn't even have
discretion at
thought
that
about
point.
that because he cleared a little extra space for Keontae to go score.
That kid that he cut off was a track star. Yeah, explosive individual. So, I mean, the opportunity to trip him up at least was there.
Yeah.
You show a lot of respect to your opponents.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You have to.
When you play. And again, not everybody does that.
Yeah.
There's some coaches out there that are talking trash to players.
Yeah.
And trash talking kids. And, to me, it's not a good look. And I've always respected the way that you've carried yourself and the way that you've led these young men. And how you have such a huge impression on these kids.
Yeah.
That are teenagers, and I just think those are lessons that they're going to take, for the rest of their lives. And I think it's just a great example to set, and it's just been it's been so much fun watching you out there with these kids, and coaching these kids and having the success that you've had.
Well, thank you,
Coach. I want to ask you something specific. We don't have any clips of this here, but when we go to your practices, you're one of the few coaches that I see in my time, 10 years in sports television, 11 years now, you do the megaphone thing at practice.
Oh, man.
Where does that come from? Like, I don't see coaches doing megaphones anymore, but you're on that megaphone every day. Why do you do that?
I tell you, early on in my career, I would lose my voice.
Okay.
Almost week in and week out.
Okay.
And, just trying to direct and, make moves and then it became a thing where when we're breaking the kids down at the end, we're setting off the siren on it and they love it.
Okay, the siren.
They enjoy
right.
it. So a lot of components. But to save my voice.
Okay.
Yeah.
The older I get, the more wise I become.
Okay.
So, all that bravado being a young man, that stuff
So
starts to
just
leave
for the
you.
voice. I love that because you don't see anybody. We go to a lot of practices. No coach has got the megaphones, man. And so I don't know.
Now, what's funny is when you start to talk, I would notice myself talking to someone 5 feet from me in the megaphone.
Oh, man. That's
that I would have to correct. I used to correct that part.
That's hilarious.
So I call Phoebus the Pittsburgh Steelers of high school football because since 1985, they've had 3 head coaches: Bill D, Stan Sexton, Jeremy Blunt. Now there's going to be a 4th. There might be a 4th Steelers coach depending on what happens this weekend in the playoffs. You just never know. The NFL's crazy like that. But there's going to be a 4th head coach. Let's just roll number 5 here. With all these coaches, so you kind of got your start under Bill D. What did this man mean to you and your career, the late, great Bill D?
He set the tradition at Phoebus, man. He set the tradition. I mean, he built the staff. They built buy-in, belief, love, family, something that carries on to this day. I'm 42. There are guys much older than me that played for him. And one thing that we all have in common is, those basic things that he put in place. And, that team mantra, man, team me is something that has carried that Phoebus tradition for years and years. And I will hope, and I'm going to push, but I can't tell anybody what to do, that whoever comes in next, they continue that because that's major. And, what it stands for is together, everyone achieves more.
Did you coach against him when he was at Oscar Smith?
We never coached against one another.
Okay.
But we supported one another, of course, when he was there.
Because when you got, when you got your chance at Oscar Smith a couple of times, man, you took advantage of it.
We had to.
Yeah.
For that first outing.
Wow.
That first outing, they beat us up.
The first one was in Chesapeake.
Yes, it was.
Did they beat you pretty bad, or was it a close game?
It was bad.
It was bad?
It was bad.
Were you guys, there was something, was there some sort of bus issue, travel issue getting there? I feel like there was something you guys were running a little late.
The traffic was bad.
Because I was there for that game,
The
and I
traffic
interviewed
was
you.
bad. We got there. By the time we got there, they were, we pretty much had to have the kids jump off the bus.
Yeah.
And get on the field.
It was something crazy.
We
I
were
remember
rushed.
that. That was like 22, maybe 22 season?
21 season.
21. That was because that was the last loss before the win streak.
Before the win streak.
November 2021.
Yep, last regular season game.
Yes.
A game that we had picked up maybe around week 4, week 5. There was an opening for both. So, we both agreed to play. Perennial powerhouse in both programs. Oscar Smith was, then everyone, the number 1 team in the state.
Right.
I could tell you being late didn't have anything to do with that Buffalo game. So,
Right.
that was just something that they were really good.
But you guys returned
the favor
a couple of times after that.
2022.
Yes, we did.
Late because you did the home and home thing basically. That 2022 game at the end of the regular season, man, I remember Nathan Epstein was working. He shot it, and I'm checking the score on Twitter, and it was 50-7 or something. Or
I want to say we were up 49-0 by half.
49-0, and I was like, wow. And I remember Jordan went off in that game.
He did.
I mean, how cool was that? I know it's the different year, but like to beat a Class 6 power like that, and you guys are Class 3 that year.
That was one of the more dominant victories the most dominant I've ever had as a head coach. But it was one of the best victories that in this program when you look at what was on the line. Them beating us the year before, them being a number 1 team in the state, and they were the team that, year in and year out for some time that they were ranked top 3 in the state.
Yeah.
So it was a major win. And like you said, Division 6 team versus a Division 3 team, Class 3 team.
Crazy. That was crazy.
Peninsula football, man.
Yeah.
Something about football on the peninsula. And we have a soundbite here. This is the late Bill D. We asked Bruce, he was in the studio. This is when he was still at Phoebus, and Bruce Rader had asked Coach D, what is it about football and Phoebus? And this is what Coach D said to us back then.
And I really don't have an answer for that, except that it's just a football town. I think kids grow up wanting to play football, and football is a very important part of that town everywhere. They grow up playing, rec league football as soon as they can put the pads on. I mean, everybody, and they all have their stories of when they played rec league, and they grow up together, and it's just, a part of the tradition of that town.
What do you think of that, Coach? Still holds.
He's spot on. It does hold. I think one thing that's made our city so special over the years was that little park, Gosnell Hope Park. That's where these kids grew up in all 4 high schools playing rec league ball. They grew up playing against each other or playing on the same team, and then they go to your respective zone school. Now things change because that park and the longtime programs within the city has started to split. Travel ball became a thing, so it hasn't been as intimate. And I would say you can see that overall for the city itself, that kind of it played a role in the decline as well, because these kids are used to playing over in Virginia Beach, but then you come play, you're going to Phoebus or you're going to Hampton. So that consistency isn't there. Yeah. What made my 24 graduate team, my 25 seniors at 2014, what made them so special, 19 of them were teammates playing youth football.
Wow.
So when they came to us, these kids believed in one another, trusted one another. So to his point, what makes it special is it's that there's a culture there. Now the culture is changing because, outside things are coming into play that's kind of forcing the change. Yeah. And, change isn't always bad, but you can see where it's playing a role. It's playing a major role. But he is right. I mean, they love sports is major, and these kids growing up playing together has been something special.
Yeah. Have you ever had one of your kids go to one of these academies, like an IMG or one of these big time, kind of boarding dorm schools?
We've had kids go. Robbie Robinson, who was a special talent, he ended up going to DeMatha, the team that we played in 2013. Mm-hmm. He had a great high school career, went to DeMatha, played well, went off to Arizona State. Cool. And he was able to go and play right away when he went to DeMatha. Now, we've had kids go and they haven't had the same impact at that particular respective program, but he was a kid that could go and play private ball.
Yeah. So what would your advice be on those kids? And maybe it's like you might be better off staying here, where you might even get more looks here than you would kind of not getting as many looks up there.
Yeah, I think it's case by case. You can be a big fish in a little pond. You can be a small fish in a big pond. If you can compete, you can compete. People leave for different reasons. If you're leaving for recruitment, things to remember is measurables matter. Doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. Well, if you're 5'7", you're 5'7". You transferring is not going to make you 6'3". Right. So you need to do what's best for you. You can go someplace where, you're a small role. You play a small role, or you can stay somewhere where you might have a major role. Film does matter. Now, if it's a lack of development at the particular program that you're at, that's something to be discussed. If it's a lack of exposure, parents, that's something that you can help yourselves out with by getting your kids out and camping, but camping at locations that it makes sense for them and how they are recruited. Everyone should have an understanding of what they're rated at this point. As you're coming through, or you measurables, what are they speaking to? Are you, D3, D2, D1, FCS, group of five. Group of five or power 4. What are you rated at? And then what does your talent speak to? So I think it's case by case. Yeah. I know the trend now is to go transfer and go private. If you believe in yourself, you want to take a chance on yourself, and you feel that's the best move for you, by all means do it. Yeah. But you see a lot of guys that go and they end up coming back because they learn that it's oversaturated. Yeah. It can be, and it might not be best for you. I use Robbie Robinson because he was a special talent. A lot of these kids are, but he was undersized, and he was already a Power 5 recruited and offered kid when he was at Phoebus. Before he decided to take that step. So when he took that step, he went and showed everyone that I was this caliber of player anyway.
Yeah. Love that. Coach, we got about 4 minutes. I got 2 specific ones I want to get to real quickly. First of all is, as an outsider of Virginia who's been here for 5 years now, what I loved about going to a Phoebus game, the passion in the stands and on your sideline. You had former players in the Letterman's jackets. You had the parents up there waving the flags. There's so much pride in your program. Can you just speak to how cool it is to play for, or to be involved in a program that has so much pride? Like, when I looked up in those stands, man, they were so proud to be at those games. What was it like for you, knowing on the sideline you had that support?
Being a part of it, growing up a part of it, man, you almost take it for granted because it's something that you feel like it should be everywhere you go, that you should feel that. But you realize being on this side of it, especially now, taking this step into a new direction, You know, it's a special situation. You know, the community is special, the school pride is special, you know, and the individuals that come and build the team, you know, year in and year out makes you special, you know. So, I mean, it's something that I will miss. I will absolutely miss it. And you enjoy it game in and game out, you know, being able to look up in those stands and see the pride and the love and the enjoyment from everyone. And it really does bring the community together.
My only complaint, not enough Friday night games.
I would agree with you there.
I know, man.
That's
We
changing
always
the
say
culture
that.
as well.
Yeah.
That's kind of a reason why.
There's been some nights where Darling was dark. They were on a Friday night. There wasn't even
No
a
one
game.
played.
Yeah, I don't understand
we
that.
mentioned it a
It's
lot. We
horrible.
wanted you guys in that Friday night spotlight so consistently. Last one for you, Coach. You've been very transparent with me. Your next steps, you're playing it close to the vest. We respect. What are you looking for in your next opportunity? Like, what is it about maybe a next opportunity that is appealing to you? What are you looking for in your position now?
Well, just for growth, you know, looking for an opportunity to challenge myself again. You know, it's exciting when you put goals in front of yourself and, you know, you start checking off those boxes towards accomplishing those goals. And, you know, one thing that I learned was, you know, as much as I enjoy being the head coach and the pride that I took in being the head coach and the honor that it truly was being the head coach of Phoebus, you know, I still had goals, personal goals for myself and my family. And, you know, when you look at your goals and you see a lot of boxes unchecked, it's a constant reminder. And so I felt like it was the time now to, you know, go and you know, pursue some of those opportunities, but more so to continue to put myself in a position to grow.
And was this
what I wanna do.
you're 42, correct?
I am 42.
So was this kind of a situation? It's like, man, it's like now's the time to kind of make the move. I'm young enough that there's a lot. I mean, you could have 30 years of coaching ahead of you.
I want to say I was 33 when I received my first college offer.
Wow.
And I'm 42 now. I'll be 43 this year. So
Wow.
you start to put that into perspective. My window is closing.
Well, Kurt Signetti's first head coaching job in college wasn't until he was in his 50s.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you letting me know that.
Got 8 years. You got 8 years.
And look at him now.
He's
No,
spectacular.
It's amazing.
Are you willing to take a job out of state, out of the area, or are you looking to stay local, stay in Virginia?
Local, if possible. I want to get my kids through and try not to disrupt.
How old are your kids?
I have a 21-year-old that's in college right now, Hampton University. 17-year-old junior that'll be a senior next year at Phoebus, and my daughter, she's 14, so she'll be a sophomore next
So
year.
your kids, you're almost an empty nester. Almost.
Getting there.
Almost. Your 14-year-old got a few more
Close
years.
enough to kind of disrupt, but you know, if I can help it, let me keep them in place.
Yeah, right.
I love that.
Well, we really appreciate you joining us, and we expect you to let us know when the decision day comes for Coach Blunt.
yeah.
I appreciate you all
Coach.
having me, man. I've enjoyed it. It's been an honor,
Thank you, man. We didn't mention it. 156 wins, 23 losses, and 14 seasons at Phoebus, man. Coach, you're such a respectable figure in 757. You're one of the legends. I know you don't want to admit to that. You're very humble, but being here all the times we've talked to you, thank you for your time. These kids are better off because of you, and we're all better off covering your program. We've learned a lot at a distance from the outside looking in. So whatever it is next, we wish you the best, and thanks for the time today.
Oh, man. Thank you, guys.
All
I
right.
appreciate it, man.
Coach Jeremy Blunt, four-time VHSL state champ and the longtime Phoebus head coach here on Sports Wrap Overtime. Thanks, Coach, and we'll see you soon.